Mga saraan, raspaan, kantaran, supaan, bayrat, bayin tira, bayin tanan. Bahan ng kong, yung turang marato. Bayin tira, bayin tanan, lahat ng klase, nala o kay bargis, nala pamili, pili. Nala o kay sa baratong presyo, planggana, bayin ang atong planggana. Mga hangir clip. 20 tira, 20 lahat ng klase.
Ito na nga pala mga kagoit, yung nabili kong 20-20 na na pentel pen. Gagamitin ko na ngayon sa pag-drawing dito sa TUPAD. So ito na nga, maraming salamat.
Get easier, you get stronger. And that strength comes from facing challenges head on, from pushing through when things get tough. Let me share another principle with you. The importance of continuous learning and self-improvement. In my years of speaking and teaching, I've noticed a common trait among successful people. They're always learning, always growing. You see, when you depend on yourself, you understand that your greatest asset is your mind. Your ability to learn, to adapt, to innovate. That's what sets you apart. It's not about what you know right now. It's about your capacity to learn and grow. Up and tell people, work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Why? Because if you work hard on your job, you can make a living. But if you work hard on yourself, you can make a fortune. Now, I'm not just talking about formal education here. Sure, that's important, but I'm talking about a commitment to lifelong learning. Read books, attend seminars, seek out mentors, practice new skills. The world is changing faster than ever, and the only way to keep up is to keep learning. I remember when I first started out, I was working as a stock clerk. I was making minimum wage, barely scraping by, but I made a decision that changed everything. I decided to invest in myself. I started reading books on business, on personal development, on philosophy. I attended every seminar I could afford. And you know what? That investment paid off. It wasn't overnight, mind you. But gradually, I started to see changes. I started to think differently, to approach problems in new ways. And as I grew, my circumstances began to change. That's the power of self-reliance, combined with continuous learning. When you depend on yourself and commit to growth, you become unstoppable. Now, let's talk about goal setting. If you're going to depend on yourself, you need to know where you're going. You need to have a clear vision of what you want to achieve. I've always said that the major reason for setting a goal is for what it makes of you to accomplish it. What it makes of you will always be the far greater value than what you get. That's where the real power lies. You see, when you set a goal, you're not just defining a destination. You're creating a roadmap for your own growth and development. You're saying to yourself, this is who I want to become. But here's the catch. You can't just set any old goal. Your goals need to be your own. Not your parents' goals, not your friends' goals, not society's goals. Your goals. I've met so many people who are living someone else's dream. They're pursuing a career they don't love because it's what their parents wanted. They're chasing a lifestyle that doesn't fulfill them because it's what society says they should want. But that's not self-reliance. That's self-denial. When you depend on yourself, you have the courage to define your own success. You have the strength to pursue what truly matters to you, even if it's different from what others expect. So I want you to take some time to really think about what you want. What are your dreams? What kind of person do you want to become? What mark do you want to leave on the world? Write these goals down. Make them specific. Make them measurable. And most importantly, make them your... Now, once you have your goals, it's time to take action. And this is where the rubber meets the road. This is where self-reliance really comes into play. You see, it's easy to depend on yourself when things are going well. But what about when you face obstacles? What about when you fail? This is where many people give up. They hit a roadblock and think, well, I guess it wasn't meant to be. They look for excuses for ways to justify their failure. But when you truly depend on yourself, you understand that failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of success. It's a stepping stone, a learning opportunity. I want you to start seeing failures as feedback. Every time something doesn't work out the way you planned, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this experience to grow stronger, to become better? This mindset shift is crucial. But when you depend on yourself, you're not waiting for someone to rescue you. You're not hoping for a lucky break. You're taking action, learning from your mistakes, and constantly moving forward. Now let's talk about discipline. If self-reliance is the engine of success, discipline is the fuel that keeps it running. Discipline is doing what you know you should do, even when you don't feel like doing it.
Please follow, like, and subscribe to my channel.